We are here with Alex Kessler. We have Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are gonna go from least confusing to more confusing. But first, what do you know about Yu-Gi-Oh?
So there's a cartoon. Pot of Greed is Ancestral Recall, but for 0 mana, but you get 2 cards instead of 3, maybe. Trap cards exist. You get a really cool Arm Gauntlet. Exodia is a way to win that I imagine is like Shiva and Dragon. It was good in 1994, but isn't still played. And ban lists rotate, I think is all I know.
Ban lists rotate.
You have like 1,000 power versus 1 power.
Yeah, there's 8,000 life points you start with in Yu-Gi-Oh! Instead of the 20 in Magic. Let's go with the least confusing card. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes. All right. We have Scapegoat. Spell card, what looks like a lightning bolt or money symbol. Special summon 4 sheep token, beast earth level 1, attack 0, defense 0 in defense position. They cannot be tributed for a tribute summon. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card, but you can normal set. Okay.
Before you evaluate,
okay.
It's going to be, is this card good or bad? And if you don't think it's either one of them, then you can say it's okay. Also, if you have any questions regarding mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or anything like that, please ask me. I can give you the answer as far as to not sway you in any way.
Okay, so base level. Can I walk through my thought process, or just like straight up after reading all of those words, do I think this is good or bad?
No. You can. Walking through the thought process is very good. Please give me everything that you're thinking about. Also, the spell card right next to it. I don't know if you know what that means. The little lightning bolt, and like all the little things like that. You can ask.
Yeah. All right. So the little. I'm assuming the little lightning card represents spell card.
No, that represents
like that's the logo
that it's
for
a
spell
certain type of spell card. Is called a quick play spell card, which means it's an instant. But in order to play it on your opponent's turn, you have to set it face down on your spell and trap card zone first, and you cannot play it on your opponent's turn out of your hand.
Okay, so out of my hand, instant but to play it on my opponent's turn, I have to, or out of my hand, sorcery that I can trap card them by making it a trap card at instant speed.
Second part was correct. Out of your hand, instant on your own turn.
Got it. Okay. So like I can respond to things that happen on my turn. Got it. Okay. Special summon 4 sheep tokens. So you're making 4 sheep tokens. You're getting some sheep. Those sheep are creature type beast earth. They are level 1. They have an attack 0 and a defense 0. So ostensibly, like what would be like I'm guessing that having 0 toughness doesn't kill a thing immediately in this game.
It doesn't. It's like an 0-1. Die. It's like a goat. It's like an 0-1 goat.
Yeah. 0-1 go. Okay. So they're in the defense position, which means they can block, I assume. Like you're creating this to be able to stop one from attacking you. They can't be used. Like I know that some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like part of the paying the cost is you have to sacrifice things in play to be able to play them or to reduce their costs. So it sounds like you can't do that with these goats. You can't summon other monsters this turn. So because you did this, you just can't make, for whatever reason, you can't summon more of them. So no more goats. Or no, you can make more goats though. You just can't summon other monsters. Or because this summons the monsters. Okay, so no goats. This is the only goats you get.
Yeah.
I would say this card feels like Fog to me. And I don't know how many, I don't know if this is a game where you're generally attacking with 80 things, and maybe these just can block an entire swing. And
one more thing.
Right?
More context. More context. You can only have up to 6 monsters on the field at one time. There's 5 main monster zones and 1 extra monster zone, which goes on top of the main monster zones. So 6 total monster zones. And this makes 4 goat tokens. You cannot have 49 attackers. And you don't attack all at once like you do in Magic. You attack one by one. And there's no summon sickness in Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you attack over you can't attack players. You have to attack into their monsters first before you can attack the players. Also, if you attack into a face-up attack position monster, all damage that is differential between the your attack power and their attack power goes to their life points like trample. If it's something's in defense position like these Scapegoat tokens, your opponent will take no life from attacking over the goat token.
So like all creatures have trample, but defense cancels trample. By like deciding to defend, it cancels trample.
Correct. Usually.
Cool. With every TCG's fun rule of if a card says something, do that instead of the rules.
Yeah. There's a keyword that lets you attack through defense. It's called piercing, but that's like trample. But
okay, so I'm gonna say that this card is situationally good. Just because like fog at many times in Magic history has been good. This plays basically like a fog. You like block their 4 best creatures. These tokens, I'm assuming, hold over until later. You can't use them to tribute, but I would imagine that there's other way to take advantage of the fact that you've made 4 free in-game objects. Well, okay. Question. You said you can only have 6 monsters. Do these count towards that number?
They do count.
So if I have 4 monsters in play and I reveal this, does this only make 1 goat or 2 goat?
You cannot physically activate this.
Oh, you just can't make. Oh, okay. Then this card's bad.
Okay. Final answer.
Okay, I'm gonna go with bad. Well, I guess if you're a deck that's like control and this is the point, and you can only, I'm assuming that in this game, we're not getting like the weird. This was good in a sideboard once because I'm assuming these are like iconic cards. Like you're showing me either like lightning bolt or really bad cards that no one ever plays. I'm gonna go with this is a bad card.
This card is bad. Yeah.
Okay,
you got it right. Yeah. This card has seen play over the years. It was a pretty good card at one point, but that was like 5-10 years ago, where using the level 1 monsters could contribute to a different type of summon that I didn't want to tell you to confuse you. But there's something called synchro summoning, where you can put monsters from your field to the graveyard to summon a bigger monster, better monster out of your extra deck, kind of like a companion zone, which is very important in Yu-Gi-Oh! That I haven't explained to you yet. And synchro monsters care about the level of the monster. So if you have a couple monsters that care about being level 1, and then these are level 1, so you just put these to the graveyard to summon your thing, which was good at one point, but it's no longer good.
Got it. I will tell you that on vibes alone, great card. I'm a big fan of these sheep. They're really good colors, just hanging out, vibing. I would want to hang out with this card, but I don't think I want to play it.
I've never heard of someone say I want to hang out with this card, but listen, those vibes are crazy vibes.
Immaculate vibes. They look so comfy. I just want to like use one as a pillow.
Like the blue one, the orange one. I do want Scapegoat pillows. You know what? You can probably get Scapegoat pillows somewhere.
I have to imagine that the blue one is blue raspberry flavored as well. Like these look like if you wanted to eat them, they'd be delicious.
They're just like candy balls.
Yeah. I'm assuming they're made out of cotton candy.
Yeah, exactly. They look like cotton candy. But this card is not that good.
All right, we got Psy-frame gear gamma. It's got a little yellow symbol in the top right hand corner that looks like there's a word, but my eyesight's terrible, so I can't read it. It's got 2 red stars, or orange stars, depending.
If you're colorblind or not.
If you're colorblind or not. It's a psychic tuner effect. Cannot be normal. Summon set must be special summoned by a card effect. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control no monsters, quick effect, you can special summon both this card from your hand and 1 Psy-frame driver from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And if you do, negate the activation. And if you do that, destroy that monster. During the end phase, banish the face-up monster special summoned by this effect. Attack 1000, defense 0.
Okay, I'm going to. Your brain exploded. Okay. Levels.
Oh wait. Before you explain anything, I want to jump into just some guesses. 1.
Sure.
This is a motorcycle. 2. When it shows up, it's like if you have the motorcycle owner, whoever rides the motorcycle, somewhere available, you get to put that into play for free. And then it's like a 5,000 your total life total, so 50 versus
8,000 total.
So it's like 8,000 life total.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1,000 is an 1/8 of your life total, so it's like a 3-0 or 3-1 basically. And then okay, so you're gonna answer questions, or you're gonna tell me some things they don't know.
I have to tell you things in order for your brain not to keep exploding. Okay. Levels matter, but not that much. You see where it says Psychic Tuner effect?
Yes.
What I already explained to you about synchro monsters, synchroing with the Scapegoat tokens. This is a tuner. Usually for to synchro summon, you need a tuner and a non-tuner. So this is the tuner part of it. Okay. The level is 2. If the card is level 1, 2, 3, or 4, you can normal summon it without tributing any monsters. It just happens that Psy-frame Gear Gamma here, this first line says it cannot be normal summoned. But usually you can. If the card says otherwise, you can't. But if the monster has level 5 or 6, so 5 or 6 stars, in order to normal summon it, you have to tribute a monster. Okay. If it's level 7 or higher, in most cases, you have to tribute 2 monsters to summon it. You get 1 normal summon per turn, and only 1 per turn, kind of like a land drop in Magic.
Okay. And the stars are its level. It's level 2 because it has 2 red stars. And then the other question is, if you only get 1 normal summon a turn, but you can do the tribute-based summons or other summons more than that one.
The tribute-based summons. The tribute-based summons are a normal summon.
Okay.
A special summon you can do unlimited times per turn, like it says for here for Psy-frame Gear Gamma. You can special summon this card.
Okay.
And the other card that it summons, I actually have prepared for you, and I'll have you evaluate this one as well, because this is required for the context of Gamma.
Okay, before I read that. So the special summon cost on this is when my opponent activates a monster effect and I have no monsters.
Correct.
I get the special summon this card from my hand and the driver that you just shared that I haven't read yet from my hand. So if I have both, can I do either or both of them?
You have to do both of them.
Okay, you have to have both. Deck, but if it's from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So as long as you have one of this in your hand, you can get all of them. Both of them.
Right.
And if I do, I counter the activation of the creature that they played. And if I do that, I destroy that monster. Okay. Destroy the end phase, banish the face-up monster special summoned by this effect. What is the difference between destroy that monster and banish a face-up monster?
Banish is exile.
Oh, okay. All right. So I play this. You activate your creature. And I'm like, haha, you've activated my Psy-frame Gear Gamma and plop this into play for my hand for free.
Yes.
As a quick effect, which means I can do whatever I want.
Quick effect is during either player's turn, like an instant.
Yeah, okay. And then when I do that, Psy-frame Gamma also goes find this Psy-frame driver. Haven't read him yet, but will in a second. And I get him into play for free. And no matter where he's at, in my hand, deck, or library, preferably probably in my graveyard or deck. Because if he's in my hand, then I kind of discard a card basically by doing that. But in the other 2 places, it's card advantage. And then I destroy the creature that activated, killed. So this is a removal spell for activated creatures. And then but then at the end, I have to get rid of Psy-frame Driver, who is a 6th level card, which you said means I have to sacrifice a creature normally to play him.
You would have to sacrifice a creature to normal summon. And you cannot special summon.
Got it. But because I have my cool motorcycle, he just shows up right in the motorcycle.
Yep, he's the driver of the motorcycle. You literally said it. He's like, if you have this motorcycle, there has to be a driver. It says called Psy-frame Driver.
Okay, all right. I'm figuring this out. He's a 2,500 attack, psychic normal, a psychic soldier. Oh, he's just okay. So he is just a free dude that you get into play. He's a it's 800 life, 8,000 life. So whatever. 2.58
yeah, that
of a power. So together they're 3.5. So they're like basically they're almost a 10-10. They're like a 9 or they're a 10-1, a 9-1.
Yeah. 9-1.
You get to wait, let me go back to the first one. During my end, when it says during the end phase, any end phase?
Either end phase.
Okay, so if they activate their creature on their turn, I get to kill their creature. I get to put Psy-frame Gear Gamma into play. Psy-frame Driver is there and gets the block maybe, but doesn't do anything. But then if they activate their ability on my turn, I then get to maybe attack with Psy-frame Driver and that turn.
Yeah, if you activate it on your turn, you can attack with the Psy-frame driver and the Gamma, or you can do something else, anything else with it, like Synchro Summon, like I said before.
But if I use it on their turn, it just shows up and then get
exactly. You can't do anything with it usually.
Can you block with it?
There's no blocking in Yu-Gi-Oh, but they have to attack through this to get to your life points.
But it's defensive 0, so they're just going to get through it.
Well, you could just attack. You could just summon this in attack position. When you special summon, you can special summon something in attack position or defense position, unless it says otherwise, like Scapegoat.
Oh, right. Okay. So you can just, it can show up. So if I do it on their turn, if they activate something before my turn, before they attack, then I can have this come in defense position, and now I have a free blocker, or 2 free blockers even.
Yes, or you can play this in attack position, and if your opponent's monsters can't attack over this, they just can't attack your life points.
Got it. But can't when you attack over something, if they have a defense 0, don't they just attack over it?
Yes.
Okay.
But if you summon this in attack position on your opponent's turn, they need 2,550 attack or more to destroy the Psy-frame driver.
But it has 0 defense.
Right. In Yu-Gi-Oh, you attack into their attack, and you attack into their defense if it's in defense position.
Yeah. Okay. So they're not shared numbers. I get to decide which one it is.
Correct.
So if I tap it into defense, they can attack into it, but it'll just block no matter what. But they'll survive, I guess, is the point.
They will. Their monster will survive. Yes.
Okay, but if I have it in attack position, they'll attack into the attack position. They'll take the damage of the attack, but they will trample over if they're bigger than it.
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna say this card is good because it's a free removal spell with value that can get them, and like punishes you for being bad. Like punishes you for. Like, it basically makes you can't activate abilities on your creature. I don't know how common that is. Like, if that's niche, this could be. There's a chance this is like those old, but it's like anytime an opponent taps a white enchantment, that enchantment die. It was like a weird niche sideboard card from Ice Age that has like a mountain of text. So it's possible that creatures don't activate abilities, and this does nothing. But I'm going to assume that these cards are at least like recognizably iconic, and in that way, this is Stifle for free. That comes with creatures that are also playable outside of that. Like it's not bad necessarily to draw these cards without those effects. So I'm gonna say good.
This card is broken.
Cool. Okay. Sick.
yeah. Good job. This card is broken. It's also limited to 1 on the ban list. It is restricted. Because it's not really worth it to play a Psy-frame Gear Gamma and the Psy-frame Gear Driver if you only have 1 Gamma in your deck. It's like a 1-to-1 ratio. But if you have a 3-to-1 ratio, then it's broken. Or even 2-to-1. It's really good.
Right. Is restricted in Yu-Gi-Oh more of a commonly used tool, or is it a...
It's very common.
Okay. It's not like in Magic where like only one format uses it, and that's like the unique feature of that format. It's like a normal ban list feature,
right? Because this is one of the only formats. It's the most widely played format of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Got it.
There's a couple other formats, but they're very niche. At almost every tournament and Yu-Gi-Oh Championship Series event and things like that are advanced technically. Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay,
that's what the format's called. But anyway. This card is broken. The main thing about this is that when your opponent's going first and then you're on the draw, you're going second, you can use this on your opponent's turn 1 play.
Right.
If you open this, if you have this in your hand, you have 2 bodies, but you don't get a battle phase turn 1 anyway, like you do in Magic. They can't just summon a Swift Spear and attack you, because that would be way too good. Sure. All monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh have haste, so you just can't attack on your turn 1. When you have this, not only does it stop their card, but it destroys the card. A lot of things in Yu-Gi-Oh require you to do different combos with monsters that you currently already have on the battlefield. And if you need an effect to resolve and to keep the monster in play, this stops both of those things, which is very good. Imagine a Nimble Obstructionist that you could cycle for free that also destroys the creature.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, very good.
That's the vibe I caught.
Yeah, it's like
I caught like stifle. I caught stifle, but it also destroys a creature in play vibes.
Yeah, even a stifle effect like Effect Veiler in Yu-Gi-Oh is very, very widely played and is already good. The fact that this destroys the card is even better, and one of the reasons why it's one of the best what we call hand traps in Yu-Gi-Oh's history.
Okay. And it's a cool motorcycle and a guy.
Exactly.
I would say I don't want to hang out with either of these guys. the vibes here are not as good as the sheep.
Actually, I mean,
ghosts,
if you can get Psy-frame Gear Gamma, if you can get it off on your own turn, your opponent does their turn 1 play, and they end their board on like a nimble obstructionist creature that can just do that. If you activate a monster effect, stop your monster, which is a lot of those in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And you go ahead and play a spell. You have to have no monsters in play, so you can play like a spell card or discard a card from your hand, like a madness card or whatever, to try to do something, and then they stop you. And you can get the Gamma effect off on your own turn. It's like the nuts. Because you get both creatures, you can attack over their board, you can even synchro summon using the driver and the Gamma into a level 8 synchro, and those are also really good, so it's just like a bunch of free value on top of it. Yeah, this card's just ultra mega broken.
It basically prevents, like, it makes it so that you are not ever going to do that by this card existing.
Yeah, people will play around this and never use... They would never use a monster effect when knowing that you already have no monsters in play. They would wait to use their interruptive monster effect when you have a monster to play around Gamma.
Yeah. That makes sense.
CoolStuffInc.com is a proud sponsor of this channel, and you can show your support while getting 5% off your entire order and a free The One James Goblin Shaman token by using the code JAMES5 at checkout. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered. CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs, and support me by using the code JAMES5 at checkout. CoolStuffInc.com. Cool stuff in stock.
Mech Knight Red Moon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 stars. Okay, so this needs probably 2 creatures to be able to, or whatever's to be able to be summoned. Psychic effect. If 2 or more cards in the same column, great columns are now in existence game.
Yeah.
If 2 or more cards are in the same column, you can special summon this card from your hand in that column. You can only special summon Mech Knight Red Moon once per turn this way. You can banish 1 Mech Knight monster from your graveyard, then target 1 face-up monster in this card's column to destroy it. Okay, so... All right, so columns are less confusing than I thought at first mentioned, because I am remembering very distinctly like a chess-like board existing in the cartoon. So I'm imagining when you summon creatures, there's I'm gonna assume a 3x3 grid that you can summon them into, but it might be because you said 6.
It's 5x5, but the middle part of the grid only makes up of 2 extra monster zones that you can only summon out of your extra deck into, one of your own and one of your opponent's. The rest of them is 5, your spell and trap card zone, your monster zone, and then your opponent's monster zone, and then their spell and trap card zone.
Got it. Okay. So the 5x5 grid is everyone.
What do you mean?
It's both players.
Yes, the 5x5 is used by both players.
Is a 5x5 grid,
yes.
Not I have a 5x5 grid and you have a 5x5.
Right, the whole board.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming. Okay, so the columns are on the grid. You can special summon this card from your hand in that column. So that means those cards in that column include their cards and my cards.
Correct.
Okay, so if they have 2 cards in their grid, I can special summon my Mech Knight from my hand into that same column. You can only special summon Mech Knight Mood once per turn this way. Does that apply to all Mech Knights or just this Mech Knight?
Just Mech Knight Red Moon.
Say it again.
It applies to just Mech Knight Red Moon. There are other Mech Knight cards.
2 Mech Knight Red Moons in my hand, I can only play 1, or okay. So because in Magic, if it said you can only do this to card name, that would just mean that like if you blinked it back, like I don't know, that doesn't even work in Magic, I guess.
No.
So it's applying to all cards with the same name. Once per turn this way, you can banish 1 Mech Knight monster from your graveyard, then target 1 face-up monster in this card column to destroy it. So that means that if Mech Knight is in my graveyard, or if I have a Mech Knight monster in my graveyard, doesn't have to be Red Moon Mech Knight, just any Mech Knight monster in my graveyard, yeah. I can, when I special summon this into a column, I can then destroy one of the face-up monsters in this column as well. Okay, so So when it says I can special summon this card, like I can play this without having to remove creatures from play.
Yep.
So if my opponent has 2 cards in one column, I can now play this guy for free where I normally wouldn't be able to.
Yes.
But it has to be in that same column.
Yep.
And then if I have a Mech Knight in my yard, I can. Do I exile it? Yeah, I can exile that Mech Knight in the yard, and then I get to destroy one of the cards, the monster in the column. Because basically, if my opponent is like, I play a creature and I play a trap card, and they're both in this column protecting each other, I can play this Mech Knight for free, and then remove the Mech Knight from my yard to kill it. Now, I imagine that if I'm playing a Mech Knight deck, it's pretty obvious that this is an effect. Well, maybe unless it's bad, I guess. But this is an effect that would be, if this was good, people would know that this is a play I have. So the idea more is this is a like, do not play trap cards with, do not play things in the same column if you can avoid it. Now, obviously, eventually the gut board state gets gummed up that that's just a standard effect that you'll run into, and sacrificing that as a negative. But up until the point where the board is going to be so full that I have to start playing cards in the same play, this encourages me to spread my stuff out. Is there an advantage to playing a trap card in the same column as a creature I control?
Not usually. There are cards that care about it, but not usually.
Okay, so this is like a micromanagey, like get them if they're lazy type of thing, but isn't something that like it's not preventing me from like using synergies that I would standardly have unless that specific deck was good.
Yeah, you're exactly right with that.
Okay. Oh, it is a 23-26, so it's a medium bowl. It's
above average, but it's not huge.
Let me very quickly, so I just have it in my brain because I'm tired maybe, and I'm not dividing. So 20 divided by 8. Okay, so it's like a 6-4, but it's a 6. It's a 6-6 basically. Okay. Or 5-5 maybe.
For context, most cards that you can summon out of the extra deck, or most like monsters that you would actually want on your board that are big enough, are around like the 2,800 to 3,000 attack range.
This is like in the 2 like the 3/3 world.
It's like a 4/5.
Okay, 4/5. Okay. Because it is like 7 mana. Now you can just cast this. If I just cast this one Mech Knight monster from graveyard, then can I also do that effect? The second effect?
Wait, what do you mean?
So if I just play Mech Knight normally, like I sacrifice enough stock. Oh, is this how this works? If I wanted to just play Mech Knight, not using special summon, do I just have to remove X amount of stars from my board to be able to play it, or to reduce its star count to under 3? How does that work? How do
Star counts don't get removed.
Okay.
For levels 7 and higher, usually you have to tribute any 2 monsters from your side of the board to tribute summon to normal summon. Mech Knight Red Moon.
So can I tribute summon this without the column shenanigans in the first half?
You can.
Okay.
It wouldn't be good to do that, but like you could.
Okay. If I do that, do I get that you can banish 1 Mech Knight moment from your graveyard, then target 1 face-up monster this column, destroy it?
You can still do that.
Okay. So that's like a Lorien revealed, casting it for 5 mana. Like, yes, you get to do it, but you're never going to. Okay. So the point is you're more using it for the first half. I don't know. If there's no benefit to it, it feels so niche and like so obvious that this is happening to you because they're going to have a Mech Knight in their yard. It is a removal spell that you get to play for free for a 2/3, and it doesn't go away, right? You just get a 2/3, and you have 5 spots. And how often is the board like gummed up? Like how often do you fill out your board?
It's pretty common.
Okay. If it's common to fill out your board,
you can also just, one thing I don't think you've mentioned yet is that you can trigger this yourself by, if you set a spell and trap card zone under the extra monster zone, that 6th zone on the top in the middle grid, and you summon an extra deck monster into the top, into the middle grid. That is, now you have a monster zone that's in between your extra monster zone and your spell and trap card that you just set, and that's 2 in the same column.
Because you have your 5x2 grid. Each player has a 5x2 grid, and then there's a shared 1x5 grid that can be put. Special stuff can be put in there, and then
Yeah, only one monster can be summoned in an extra monster zone, one for each player.
Okay, but you can pretty easily, well, not easily, but through the standard effort of what you're doing, turn this into a
Free summon.
Chupacabra that you just get to.
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm gonna say it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Stop.
You're right, but not all the way.
Okay.
Mech Knight as an archetype of cards, so as a group of cards, were good at one point in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
To the point where people did, like you said, stop putting spell and trap cards in the same column as their monsters. People did do that. The deck didn't dominate at any point in Yu-Gi-Oh, but it was a good like tier one or two deck that you definitely had to keep in mind. But that was like 5 years ago.
Okay.
Nowadays, it's awful.
Okay.
And to the point where you probably don't even need to play around Mech Knights anymore, but people just do because it's instinctual now.
Got it.
Because
so I'm gonna say that good. We had a question mark, and it was a 5-year question mark.
Yeah, yeah. I thought this would be a little bit confusing because you're like, wait, I'm gonna test my knowledge on Yu-Gi-Oh today. Wait, columns?
Yeah, I got there. I feel like contextually we knew what this card was doing.
Yeah, there's a lot better Mech Knights, by the way. I just didn't give you those, so I didn't want them to be too obvious that they were good. You're coming around.
I evaluated this. I'm going to say I evaluated this card correctly. The comments can tear me apart.
No, you evaluated it correctly, okay? All right, comments. Go tear them apart. Tear them apart, comments.
W Nebula Meteorite. It's a trap card. I'm assuming the symbols in the top right corner are card types as well as the wording.
Right.
Okay. W Nebula Meteorite trap card. It's a meteorite with a face and some spiky hair, hanging out with a guy. First edition. Change all face down monsters on the field to face up defense position. During the end phase this turn, change all face up light reptile type monsters you control to face down defense position. Then draw one card for each. After that, you can special summon a level 7 or higher light reptile type monster from your deck. All right. Base level wants reptiles. Change all face down monsters on the field. How do you get a face down monster on the field?
And you know how I said you can normal summon? You normal summon face up. You can set a card. Instead of normal summoning it, you can put it face down defense position.
Okay. So if I normal summon, I can put a normal summon card face down and in a defensive position, so it basically is a defense 0/0. Instead of putting it face up. Right. And then if you attack into it, does it reveal and flip over, or it's just a face down card?
Well, one of the aspects of the damage step is the card flipping over if it gets attacked.
Okay. Change all face down monsters on the field to face up defense position. During the end phase this turn, change all face up light reptile type monsters you control to face down. Okay, so if you had spent your experience putting all these cards face down, you now get to flip them to face up. And in that case, they get all their stats and get to do what they get all their abilities. They're no longer just like blank 0/0 goats.
Right.
Okay. During the end phase of this turn. Okay, so then that happens, and then you have to wait till the end of the turn. Change all face-up light reptile type monsters you control to face down defense position. So you turn all the reptiles that you have back to goats. Or not even back to goats. They become goats against your will. But then you get the draw for each of them. And then after that, you can special summon a level 7 or higher light reptile type monster from your deck. I think this is good. Like reptiles could be bad. I have no idea how good reptiles are. Like on the assumption that reptiles are not trash. This card lets you like not let your opponent see what you're doing. Like get them if you need to, by like making all of the things that you've been secretly making 0/0 goats into way cooler things. then at the end of the turn, depending on if you blocked what your opponent was doing or whatever, they flip all the way back over. You draw up to 5 cards, and then one of those 5 cards you get to put into play for free as long as it's big. Which, this is a dinosaur deck ostensibly, and then therefore, if there isn't a big dinosaur in the dinosaur deck, Matt, Yu-Gi-Oh is doing it wrong.
Well, there's a caveat you're missing about this, is that regardless of whether you draw a big one in your hand or not, you still just get one from the deck, not one that's in your hand. You get one from the deck regardless. So you would in your example, you would draw the 5 and then get it from your deck. Yes.
Oh. So it's not even like you can't even whiff. You just you could whiff by drawing the reptile that you want to put into play.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have a 7 cost, if I have a 7 cost reptile, I can play it face down no matter what as a special summon.
No, special summons always go face up unless they say otherwise.
So how? And then there's a morph end of game. Everyone has to reveal every card that's face down, and if you cheated, you get DQ'd from the tournament step, basically in Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, if a game is scooped, if the game is like conceded while there's cards face down, you don't get to see the cards. Your opponent doesn't.
So how do they know that I didn't cheat and put a card that wasn't allowed to be face down?
Yes, you've broken the code for Yu-Gi-Oh rulings since the dawn of the age. You don't know. You don't know.
So that's just,
you have to trust them.
So okay. Okay, got it. So that's just make it happen to Yu-Gi-Oh. Cool. So for Yu-Gi-Oh fans, there is a face down mechanic in Magic, but in Magic, if there's a card that's face out at the end of the game, you have to reveal what they are to prove that it could have been put face down the way that you did it.
No, not Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay, so I can't play a 7-drop. I can't play like a 6-drop that's face down for free
from the deck. It says level 7 or higher, but yes.
No. So it says change all face down monsters on the field to face up defense position, and you mentioned that I can play any regular summon as a face down card.
Yes.
In a defensive position,
David,
can I do?
Go ahead.
Can I do any creature that way, but just face down ones or it has to be a regular summon?
You cannot, since you can't special summon in face down defense position unless a card says otherwise. You have to normal set the card. So it's like a normal summon, but instead of putting it face up, you put it face down in defense position, like face down tapped, basically. But you can do that for any monster. Down.
That's what I'm asking. So even if I normally wouldn't be able to play it face up, I can still play it like every card ostensibly has morph.
Yes, every card has morph.
Has every card or not morph, but
basically, I know what you're saying. Yeah, every card has
every
that.
card is manifest. We're like,
yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So what this card then very much lets you do is I can just be spending all my turns regular summoning a bunch of 12/12s that are big ass lizards, but because I can't cast them, they go face down. But then I cast Meteorite and they all flip over. Now they all exist. Yes. They can do a thing. Yeah. And then so this card is good.
This card
lets you draw 5 cards. So it feels good.
It does. Yeah. If Yu-Gi-Oh was that slow, you'd be right. But this card is trash.
Okay.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is way faster than this. This card is very slow. Yeah. If you could set a monster and then next turn set a monster, the next turn set a monster, and your opponent never dealt with the monsters, and then flipped this, it would be absolutely crazy. But your opponent's just going to get rid of your monsters if you set one, and you only get one per turn. Remember, so you can only set one, then set one. You'd have to be playing like a really stall deck, you have to be playing like a really hard control deck in order to get this off. And if you're playing a hard control deck just to get this off, then you could be doing a much better things than doing this.
Sure, I guess so. After that, you can special summon a level 7 or higher light reptile type monster from your deck. Doesn't that just trigger regardless, though? So doesn't this, like, at minimum value get you a 7/7?
The way this is worded, you have to do the first thing to do the second thing.
Okay.
Because it says in Yu-Gi-Oh, like if it says after that or then you do have to complete A before you complete B.
Got it.
If you could just flip this and summon a level 7 or higher reptile from the deck, this card would probably be good.
Yeah.
But it is way too slow to be good. So
Yeah.
You're on the right track
Having-
if Yu-Gi-Oh was at the same speed as what you're thinking, but it's way faster than what.
Damn you, Nebula Meteor! You.
Yeah, you can't get 100% in my quiz today.
Ruin my perfect record.
Yeah. Cass, you could not get 100% in my test. No, you can't do it.
All
All right. Moving on to the most confusing card I'll give you.
Small World spell card. Reveal one monster in your hand. Choose one monster from your deck that has exactly one of the same types, attribute, level, attack, or defense, and banish the revealed monster from your hand face down. Then add from the deck to your hand one monster that is exactly one of the same type, attribute, level, attack, or defense as the monster chosen from your deck, and banish that card chosen from the deck face down. You can only activate one Small World per turn. Okay, so I have a monster in my hand. I reveal it.
Mm-hmm.
That monster, I then can search my deck for something that matches any of those attributes. Not all of them, just one of them.
Yes.
I can then banish the monster I revealed from my hand face down. I then add from the deck to my hand one monster that is exactly one of the same type, attribute, one of the same things as the monster chosen from my deck, and banish the card chosen from the deck face down. You can only so like what feels like the most roundabout way of just tutor for a creature. You have to reveal a creature. You then use that creature to find another creature that has things, and then you use that creature to find another creature that you then get to put in your hand.
Right.
And then both of those two first creatures get exiled. So this lets you it's Eldritch Evolution from your hand, but instead of upstepping 2 mana, you're like leapfrogging 2 attributes.
Yes.
Now, does it have to be the same? If I reveal a card that has a 5,000 attack and I find another 5,000 attack, the next card could be a Meta Knight or whatever, a Mech Knight.
It could be a Mech Knight, yes.
If the second card was a Mech Knight. Like the first attribute does not have to match the second attribute.
Yes. Let's just say you revealed a 5,000 attack monster from your hand. And you have another 5,000 attack monster in your deck that only shares that 5,000 attack and nothing else.
Yeah.
And then you note that card, and then you can find whatever. If that 5,000 attack monster was like light, for instance, light attribute, and a Mech Knight is light attribute that doesn't have 5,000 attack and not the same level or anything like that, not the same attack and defense, but it was light, you can add that Mech Knight to your hand.
Yeah. So you can, if the attack is the same on one, once you get to the second one, any of its attributes can match the next one, even if that one has nothing matching the first one.
Right.
Okay. So this is a tutor that lets you you have to discard a card to tutor, basically. When you play a spell card, how does casting a spell card work?
This is a sorcery.
Okay, so you play it on your turn, sorcery speed. You get one of these a turn?
You can, the last line, you can only activate one Small World per turn.
You can only activate one Small World per turn, but can I activate other sorceries that turn?
Yes.
Turn? Okay. And then when I activate it, it goes to my discard. I just play it from my hand.
You play it from your hand into the spell and trap card zone, and then after it resolves, goes to the graveyard.
Yeah, knowing what you just said about speed, knowing what I now am remembering after you said the thing about speed about Yu-Gi-Oh is like a turn 1 format and everything happens within the first 2 turns, basically. I'm gonna go with this is good. This is just a tutor for a thing, and that the thing that you have to get to does not seem like a hard thing to find. Like the roundabout way it's wording to get to it doesn't seem impossible to accomplish. And if you're able to cast this on turn 1, being able to go get the exact thing you need turn 1 for your combo or whatever seems really important and not hard to accomplish. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is good.
Yep, this is good. This is very good. Yeah. It's not played in every deck because not every deck has the ability to play as many creatures with different levels and types and attributes as is required for Small World. But it is easy enough to resolve and have creatures in your deck to work with Small World that decks that do need the help to search a monster will play this, and it is played. You can also use this to search for niche tech cards in your sideboard, and you only need to play one of them because you're playing like 3 Small World in your deck. So you'll see people play like Lava Golem, which can tribute 2 of your opponent's monsters to summon itself on your opponent's side of the field. If you really need to get rid of your opponent's monsters, Lava Golem is a really good way to do that. And not that you know what Lava Golem is, but it searches niche tech sideboard cards in creature form as well.
I'm not surprised a card called Lava Golem is good at removing my opponent's creature.
Yeah, it's like Meteor Golem, right?
Does it punch through them, turning them into a donut? Maybe.
Yeah.
So I guess my one, like, it's Eldritch Evolution or it's Neoform, right? Like Neoform requires your deck to be built so that you have the chain, so that any creatures you have in play can get to the next one. Otherwise,
yes,
you can't play them, and you have to play enough creatures that Neoform isn't dead in your hand. But if those two things are true, Neoform can do very broken things.
Yes. Yes. In Yu-Gi-Oh, the monster in your hand and the end result monster, that middle monster there in Yu-Gi-Oh is called a bridge. People use that word when they're talking about Small World. They're like, "All small world, I'll bridge this into this."
Okay, cool. I will tell you that you said this was confusing. This is maybe the least confusing card you showed so far. Like, the wording is awkward, but it's not like this card could exist in Magic. It just feels like, you have to reveal a card. If it matches any of these things, find another card. If it matches any of those things, tutor it. It seems like a accomplishable card.
Yes.
4 for 5.
4 for 5. That was really good.
Goddamn Nebula Meteorite.